Following a long and often criticised build-up to Grand Slam at Australia, AEW delivered from an entertainment standpoint in a show headlined by Tony Storm reclaiming the Women's World Champion in front of a raucous home crowd. The issues on the road to the event have been well publicised. After ambitiously announcing a 60,000-seater venue, the show was promptly downgraded to 13,000 capacity in November. The venue, which sparked headaches for fans who'd already purchased tickets, and some find their expensive stadium tickets that have become poor seats in the new site. Then there remained ambiguity over whether the show was pay-per-view or TV special, and confusion over when it would air. Frustrations over organisational fiasco were on full display when Tony Khan was met with boos. Khan didn't acknowledge the hostile reception, but quailed the boos by promising the company would return to Australia, which has been confirmed. Still, it was a significant moment indicated, for as excited as they were, there remained hurt feelings over the handling. But it often is the case in AEW that the issues fade away fast when the bell rings. As the broadcast captured, the energy inside the arena was high throughout the entire show. It is thought to be among the best professional wrestling shows ever heard on the Australian style, and maybe one of AEW's strongest episodes. It was bookended by a memorable moment, starting with Ospreay and Omega's first ever tag match, concluding with Storm's euphoric win over Mariah May. Right in the middle, a crowd sing-along to Melengus during Coates' entrance produced an emotional highlight. It was also did little things well. Harley Cameron came across as a star, as did Buddy Matthews in their own events, and with AEW set to return in 2026, there's plenty of learning over what size arena they could run, and how they put the Australian stars. It's even inconceivable that AEW could successfully manage a venue as large as maybe the AMI Park in Melbourne, around 30,000, 200 metres away from the site of the actual tennis Grand Slam, the Australian Open. Realistically, if AEW wants to touch the stratosphere of a stadium show in Australia, it desperately needs to improve its brand visibility. This starts with improving a TV deal, which sees AEW airing on delay on ESPN and its parent streaming platform KO Sports. Even the domestic broadcast for Grand Slam began airing an hour after it finished on North American screens. AEW commercials airing throughout that weekend on KO also made no mention that the show was in Australia. Going beyond TV and streaming, AEW's presence has felt minimal. Queensland's local union unanimously said they had little to no advertising outside of pro wrestling circles, while the show didn't register normally despite relying heavily on interstate tourism. The company sent Tony Storm and Paul White over to promote the show, and Darby and Carl Fletcher did it remotely. But yeah, it didn't really have quite the same as when WWE showed up with like Grayson Waller appearing on big shows over there. But AEW doesn't have to only look in WWE's playbook. And we've seen the strength of having AEW Australian stars on there, and they could really use those more, as well as maybe involving local wrestlers on the heels of an Australian indie super show put on by Pro Wrestling League Renegades that saw big crowds. They could attract some of those stars. AEW's partially understood in the main way. Buddy Matthews was allowed to wrestle 5 times in Melbourne City Wrestling, carried the promotion's top championship last year, booking Robbie Eagles for Ring of Honor Pro Championship match against Lee Moriarty as well was another good move. And yeah, it's the sort of thing that they need to see, build strong connections, and running a show in Brisbane again would be a challenge, but it could work. But I think maybe moving on to more established cities, Melbourne and Sydney, where we've seen obviously WWE have their super show of 70,000 in the MCG a few years ago. It could be obviously probably not a crowd as big as that, but we could get a big crowd. In any case, the first hurdle has been cleared, and yeah, I think AEW has the opportunity to have a much improved visit to Australia in 2026 with hopefully a similarly good show. So that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.